gotta look out and say, okay, do I need to call Nahid? Do I need to make an appointment? What do I need to do? Now, if investment and real estate is not your gig, fine, get insurance, get Kenny, do something. Don't just sit there and think tomorrow is gonna be all better.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Kenneth Wilson, and what I'm here today to talk about is how you can save hundreds of thousands of dollars in unnecessary taxes going forward over the rest of the course of your life. If a family, married filing jointly, has a taxable income over $32,000 in retirement, then 50% of their Social Security benefit becomes taxable automatically. If that family's income is over $44,000, 85% of their Social Security income becomes taxable automatically at whatever rate taxes are at that time. So if we can get that money moved from tax deferred to tax free, we can also eliminate having to pay taxes on Social Security, because if you have money coming out of a tax-free account in retirement, it doesn't count as taxable income, and it doesn't cause Social Security to become taxable.
Early on, I fell in love with real estate taxation. And I was very good at it. I understood it. I thought it was fantastic. I saw people making a ton of money in real estate. That being said, I tell almost all of my younger clients when they first come to see me, I want you to own your own home. So multifamily real estate, by my definition of how I look at it, there's two types. One is any property that has 4 units or less. So that's a single family home that you could buy and rent out. Okay, that's a duplex, 2 units in it. You can buy it and rent it out. You can even live in one of those. There's the thing called a triplex. There's 3 pieces, there's 3 units there that you can rent out. And a fourplex, very, very common, particularly in Long Beach. There's tons of fourplexes. A lot of my clients own those kinds of things, and they get cash from it. It pays them money every month. The rent that comes in is more than the expenses on the building. They get to keep that money. They live on it, right? It can be tax-free if you know what you're doing. So not only you're getting cash flow, income, you don't pay tax on it.
No way.
It's possible. All the guys who make a lot of money in the United States, the really wealthy guys, they all know this. But who's really paying all those expenses?
The renters.
The renters. Oh my goodness, the renters are paying it for the property owner. Mm-hmm. You think the rich people have figured this out? They sure have. They sure have. Now the tenants are paying for the expenses of the property, and you're getting some of that money in cash flow. They pay all your bills, you get a check every month, and no taxes. Sounds like retirement to me.
My dad passed away a year ago, and instead of going through the whole mourning process of, being with that feeling, we had to snap out of it and say, okay, what do we need to get? What do we need to do? So it is, it's something that you don't want to leave that behind for your kids. So I say plan ahead, and especially with young couples, it's not expensive. With term insurance with Farmers, you have 2 ways of getting it. It's a simple term. There's no physical needed. The rates are a little higher, but you get insured right away. Like if, for example, if you're going on vacation, that's when I usually get most of my calls. You go on vacation and it hits you like, I'm leaving my loved ones behind. What if something happens to me? I need a policy right away, right? So that's when you get term insurance. It's simple term. You get it approved within 2 days. Okay, and then we have the long-term policies. Those are a little bit less expensive, but and you go through a physical, so it's depending on your age, the benefit amount that you choose, and then the term, and then your health, how good your health is, basically. So that's what determines the rate on your life insurance. And then we have the universal policies. We have whole life, where it gives you a cash account built in the whole policy. So you have a benefit amount, and then you have a set payment till you reach age 100. So with that benefit amount that creates into your policy, you're able to borrow against it and use it in case you ever need money for a little extra here and there. So you could borrow against that benefit. If your benefit is $200,000, but you're borrowing $100,000, when you pass away, half of that will go to your kids, whatever's left over, to your beneficiary. And yes, if you bundle something with Farmers, you get a discount for auto, home, life, commercial. So the more you bundle, the better rate you get on all your policies. Thank you, everybody. And thank you, Nahid. I know she's always pushing us to do better, and I really appreciate it because I know she always wants to improve our lives, and she's always working towards that. So thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
Today, I just want to give you guys the bird's eye view of different things that you can do to set your family up for success. You're not going to be dealing with the mess that you left. They are going to be dealing with the mess that you left. So from the bird's eye view, I want to talk to you guys about a living trust. Has anybody heard of that? You guys have heard of trusts? A living trust is a legal tool for the financial planning that allows a person to hold another person, which is the settlers, property for the benefit of someone else. So I will say this because it's less complicated. When I die and I don't have a will or a trust, all my stuff has to be decided who it will go to. We follow that much. If I put all my stuff, my motorcycle and my Jeep, in a trust, when I die, the trust is alive. The trust is alive and it's established, which means there's no deciding who my stuff goes to because the entity that holds it is alive. You guys following that much? Depending on what your financial circumstances look like, there are different types of trusts that you can set up that takes away a lot of power. Those would be irrevocable trusts. Irrevocable trusts are something that you would set up, you would give something to your wife, and as soon as that trust is formed, you no longer have the ability to take it away. Does that make sense? I want to keep us in the clouds without getting in the weeds, and maybe Larry would be able to touch upon it more, but when we give our property to somebody else, we avoid estate taxes, we avoid certain different types of taxes that when we pass, we will be responsible for. So even if we put them in a living trust, we might still be dinged tax-wise because that property is still yours in this trust rather than designated to somebody else. 3 things I want you guys to walk away with, and then I'm happy to answer questions, is this. We want to avoid probate. We really want to avoid probate. How do we avoid probate? We avoid probate by setting something up called a trust. 2, go to the court's website if you guys want to. But 3, you know enough now to have a dialogue with an attorney and not feel like he's pulling the wool over your eyes. Because that's everyone's fear, is that you're gonna get punked or bamboozled or whatever it is. And it's not the case. It's not the case because you have this information and we're always here as a resource for you guys.
First-time buyer is just the most amazing thing. And believe it or not, until this day, some people think you need to have a 20% down to buy a house. Absolutely not. 1%, you can buy a home. One thing is though, it's my job and it's my duty to educate you. That is the reason I have a real estate license. All I wanted you, and that is why I brought you today, is I wanted you to open your eyes to see what is in the horizon. What can I do? I have my home. I have equity in my home. Can I pull some equity out of my home and buy a duplex? Can I get some equity out of my home and buy a 3 or 4 unit? What is my payment going to be? Can I collect enough rent on it? Is the rent the first year or 2 years will be maybe short a couple of $100? With the way Larry is showing it on taxes, you're gonna have a write-off. So it really, and realistically, you're not gonna be short, but then from there, you're increasing. The goal of this meeting, you guys, I really, really wanted you, when you are a 60-year-old, your rentals income is way more than your paycheck when you're retired. And you have the ability to say, you know what? I'm gonna retire early. You have the ability to say, I don't like you. I don't want to work for you no more. I want to do my own thing. And that is under your fingertip. Do you guys have any question? Do you want to clarify something? Do you have a plan? You got to do a plan. You got to write it down and take action on it. I'm ready. Woo! Woo! All right, you guys, was this helpful? Would you guys want more of this? Awesome, awesome. Well, please have tacos. And thank you so much for coming. We appreciate it.